Here's the pitch. You're a witch in training on a snowy island, your cat Coco has bolted, and your ride is a skate broom. ILA. A Frosty Glide wants to be the coziest platformer you play this fall, the kind that swaps boss fights for big vibes and momentum. The question is simple. Does that glide feel like freedom? Or does the cute premise hide a collectathon that leaves you circling the same ridge for the third time, wondering if you missed a turn? Context first. Developed by Magic Rain Studios and published by First Break Labs, ILA, A Frosty Glide launches October 20th, 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series XS, Switch, and PC at $19.99. Multiple reviewers agree on the core loop. This is traversal first design. You're not clearing combat arenas, you're building flow, jump, glide, wall stick to ice, dash, ground pound to crack chests, then string those moves together to push deeper. You gather Stardust charges to lengthen airtime, snag coins to shop cosmetics, and occasionally unlock new broom tricks that nudge open fresh routes. Think cozy Tony Hawk with witchcraft and zero rails to fall off. Where the consensus forms is the feel. Outer Haven describes the movement as immediately satisfying, muscle memory kicks in, and that's a good sign for any platformer. PS4 blog doubles down with specifics. The first-person scout view you can toggle by clicking the right stick becomes a quiet MVP. It lets you plan a line, check a ledge, and stop guessing what's around that frostbitten outcrop. GameGrin backs this with an accessibility angle. The camera mostly behaves, and the manual control saves the day when a tree or ridge blocks your shot. Translation. You're not fighting the camera to have fun, which is rarer than it should be. Now the split. GameGrin's big complaint, no map. Coins breadcrumb new areas, but you can wander in circles, unsure if you've exhausted a zone or just missed the one glide angle that stitches the path together. Outer Haven's pain point is adjacent but different perspective. With the pulled back camera and stylized polygons, depth can lie to you. You think you're right above a target, ground pound to stick the landing, and your shadow tells you you're still off by a chunk. When there's no shadow, you're guessing. That's not input lag, that's readability. The moment-to-moment fun doesn't vanish, but it can kill momentum when you're in let me thread the needle mode and the needle keeps drifting. Performance and platform notes land in the know before you buy category. Outer Haven reports that on Steam Deck, quality mode locked at 40 felt sluggish and performance mode to 60 was the move. It still looks good because the art leans into clean, PS1 adjacent low poly charm. On Switch, PS4 blog calls out smooth controls and the same first-person helper, while praising the relaxed vibe and customization loop. Expect consistent style, not ray-traced icicles. Let's talk systems, because this is where players either vibe or bounce. Stardust charges govern glide duration. Early hours are short hops and safe returns. Later, you're chaining wind boosts, wall grabs on ice faces, and mid-air dashes to stitch long lines. There are around 70 Magic Fortune chests that unlock from ground pounds, a satisfying thunk that rewards routing. Add in Coco's memories, island stories, mysterious shards, and fish bones, and you get that cozy checklist energy. Importantly, death is off the table. Try a risky glide into a barrier and you boomerang to safety. That works with the tone. This isn't about punishment, it's about curiosity. Tone matters here. ILA borrows from wholesome but isn't saccharine. Outer Haven mentions an absurdist streak, odd statues, playful notes, secret coves, and little art scenes that add heart without drowning you in monologue. You get letters from Isla's dad Bryn that read like practical magic tips with parental warmth. Lore drop number 1. Those notes quietly position the island as more than a playground. There's a faint sense you're finishing someone else's path, like your glide lines are overlapping old family roots. Lore drop number 2, more of a theory. Coco isn't just a MacGuffin. The game seeds fish bones and paw prints not as a tease, but as a diegetic breadcrumb system, a way to justify why the world rearranges around movement. It's a cozy version of a chase scene in slow motion. Counterpoint time. If you bristle at aimless wandering, GameGrin's I wish there was a map is going to resonate. The level design relies on coins to guide new routes, but backtracking is common if you miss a diagonal wall stick or a wind funnel tucked behind a snowbank. Outer Haven echoes the friction from the opposite angle. Even when you know where to land, the camera depth can trick you. Both complaints are fair, but they can be mitigated with what I'll call the broom brain playstyle. Use first-person scanning at rest points to line up depth. Watch the shadow for final approach when it exists. If the shadow's missing, take a higher angle ground pound onto a larger pad and use dash to micro-correct late. And when in doubt, go collect a Stardust charge or two. More airtime patches over readability gaps, better than obsessing over a single pixel-perfect drop. Let's ground this debate in scores and tone. Game Grin lands at a 7-10. Good, sometimes frustrating with real coziness. PS4 blog clocks in higher at 8-10 on Switch, leaning into the relaxed flow and customization loop. Outer Haven hits roughly a 4-5, praising the pure feel while dinging perspective quirks and a couple puzzle hunts that feel more mandatory than exploratory. Why the variance? It maps almost perfectly to your tolerance for unguided traversal. If you need quest markers and a mini-map, the island will feel bigger than it is. If you love poking at edges, testing wind lanes, and coming back later with a longer glide, the absence of a map is a feature, not a flaw. Here's the payoff if you're planning to play. Prioritize Stardust charges early. Every extra second reshapes the world. Toggle performance mode on handheld if you can, because consistent frames make gliding read cleaner. Use first person at perched vantage points to spot coins and wind tells. Ground pound chests when they're in your line, not as a checklist. Chasing all 70 without routes will burn you out. And if you're tempted to speedrun, the timer exists. But ILA sings better when you let the soundtrack breathe and take the scenic line. So what's the veteran game verdict? ILA. A Frosty Glide is a confident, cozy platformer with excellent movement feel and a few readability hiccups. The island is small by open-world standards but dense with micro-routes that reward you for thinking in arcs, not waypoints. The humor lands, the art direction is intentionally stylized, and the lack of fail states encourages play. The no-map choice is divisive by design. I'm on the side that says it's the right call for this tone, but the game could communicate depth a hair better, more shadows in key landings, stronger parallax cues, or a simple last new coin trail highlight would smooth the rough spots without selling out the mystery. If this kind of no BS deep dive is your thing, hitch a ride with Veteran Game and hit subscribe. And if you're nodding or fuming, toss a like so this take survives the algorithm. Final thought to chew on. Is a cozy explorer more meaningful when you're a little lost? Or should every modern platformer ship with a map just to respect your time?